For 25 years I've worked with gang members. So, and the art that they mainly embrace is drawing, painting, murals, that kind of thing, and extraordinary artists. So there's something about it that's magical, about people discovering the truth of who they are through this process of creating something. And it also gives them access to their story, which is, you know, often enough stories of great abandonment and torture and violence. And so unless you transform your pain, you're just going to keep transmitting it. And so that's kind of what happens, that people need to take a good look at it, acknowledge it as sort of a dark tunnel, and proceed to walk to the end of it where the light resides. And sometimes the finished product is sort of the manifestation of this light, you know, where suddenly, you know, the light is illuminating, you know, the dark corners of their past, you know. We have a thing here that will happen today called Dance to the Groove, and it's sort of dance as healing and as therapy. And I remember when one of the therapists suggested, I thought, oh, trust me, I know my homies, it's not going to work. Well, it's packed. It's just absolutely packed. And she teaches them some wild routine. And it's just this reckless abandon. And the therapist told me once that, you know, they're all sweating, and she's looking around and she sees this guy who did 30 years in prison, who's just sweating like everybody. And he's just sobbing, like somehow this dance has triggered this thing, you know, like it's that we hold it somewhere deep inside in our bodies, you know, and this sort of let it out in a remarkable way, you know. Art meeting the history of this particular individual, all the pain he carried. Sure, he was in therapy, sure he goes to classes, sure he goes to anger management or whatever. Somehow this got to this whole other enclosed thing that was in his body that was let loose. And I really believe in that. I've been reading very slowly the Acts of the Apostles, you know, and a lot of times people think it's a kind of a quaint snapshot of the earliest Christian community, but what it really is the measure of the health of any community. So it's not about an idealizing of what a community ought to look like or something, or it isn't even about Christian or people of faith. This is what a healthy community feels like. There is no us and them. Nobody is needy. We have regard for each other. We're in this together. We belong to each other. The list goes on, and I think it's important to measure health in that way, and those are essential ones: love, the lack of need, and the embracing of awe.